Welcome back to Noteworthy with Nan. I am here with my friend Elizabeth. I mean, I feel like we've probably known each other for like 10 to 15 years. I was thinking before when I walked here this morning. I
In
wasn't
a lot
sure.
of different capacities and life
Yes.
chapters. So this is so much fun to be sitting here with you today.
I'm so excited that you're here. Elizabeth is in from Atlanta and she's here in the city and she was texting like, let's grab a coffee, whatever. And I sort of sprung this on her because I was like, well, we could grab a coffee or you could come on my podcast.
We could talk over a camera. No, I'm so happy to be here. And I love the premise of the podcast, Life After
thanks.
Your Business, that you've started. And I always wonder the same thing. What are these women doing today and how have they managed?
Like, I just think that there's so much about
very
like,
interesting.
the early years of someone's business, but I'm like, no, but what's happening right now? Like, there's still just new challenges and new things that are happening. And you have had many businesses, which we will get into. But first, I like to ask everyone for a high and a low from the past week, like just sort of to set us where you are in life.
Okay, love it. I think a high that would be this morning walking through New York City in my floral loafers and my white Sussarder dress, and everybody's in monochromatic walking to work. I just felt like a city girl again walking to work.
I love it.
But also felt like I was sticking out like a sore thumb, which we want to stand out.
Exactly.
And,
I always, anytime I
me.
wear color or anything like that, yesterday I was wearing a red gingham dress and I feel like a lot of people were giving me like a double take.
Yeah.
It's summer. It's New York City. I can wear red, you know?
I mean, I love it. Oh
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that was a major high. And just even I went to something last night and I didn't really know many people, and I love meeting strangers and just like.
Are you good at that? I have to say I'm not great at like walking up to people at sort of an influencer type event. I get a little intimidated, but then I feel like I can talk to a wall. But are you good at just like walking up to a group of people?
I think before I got there, I was a little timid. I had flown in from Atlanta and I changed in the LaGuardia bathroom, and I actually put on the off-campus music playlist in the bathroom.
Such a good soundtrack.
And I feel like everybody was jamming with me, so that lifted my spirits. But I texted you. I was like, "Are you going to this?"
Yeah.
So if I'd have a buddy when I got there, and but I walked in and came in with my luggage.
I love that. And it was at Outer Banks? Is that what that place is called?
Yes, it was at Outer Banks. And it was really lovely with Petite Plume. But I didn't know many people. And there was a lot of people over social that I feel like we've seen from afar.
Totally.
And it was so fun to meet people in person. And I just introduced myself. And I think in New York,
you can get away with that. I do think it's easier when I'm like, oh, I see someone from afar and I know I follow them or I have something to talk to them about. I can be like, oh, Elizabeth, I follow you. I love your content. If I don't know that person at all, I'm kind of draw a blank, but I should work on that. It would be a good skill to practice.
Oh, I feel like you're such a great conversationalist. I'm surprised. I feel like you would be really good.
I think I try to hide it sometimes, but I think we all get intimidated or a little nervous.
Big time.
Yeah. Any lows from the past week?
Yeah. I think, I don't know if it'd be a low, but I'd say I was just like really exhausted.
Yeah.
More than anything. And I feel like I'm getting my energy back.
Love.
And feeling rejuvenated. And it had been just the end of the month. It was school is so busy for anybody that has like young children. It's
like, what do you guys call it? May, summer. I feel like I see people say that on social media because it's just so hectic.
Yes. And so I think I was just trying to like do a ton and stretch thin. And I really believe your body keeps score, and I could just feel it. And so I think that was my low, but I'm coming out of it.
Awesome. Yeah, you're here in New York, re-energized. I love it.
Yes, definitely.
I realized I totally forgot to ask you before we totally dive in for a quick little intro to tell us that you have 2 kids, all the things. So will you just give everyone who's listening a little overview of who you are in case they don't already follow you?
Yes. My name's Elizabeth Cook, or Elizabeth White Cook. White's my maiden name. I have 2 children, Louisa and Hayes. They're both under 7 years old. We live in Atlanta, Georgia. I've started and sold 2 businesses and really believe in optimistic evolutions. And, you know, the most interesting women have had a lot of life chapters. And I certainly hope to be part of that group. And, you know, I have been just trying to lean into opportunities as I see them and open spaces and kind of figuring it out. But one business has led to the next, which has then led to the next. And I would consider this kind of my third rendition of and I don't know how long I'll do this for or what it'll lead to next, but I'm really enjoying where I am right now. And I've been sharing content online, and especially on Substack, and talking about thrifted finds. I love secondhand treasures.
Elizabeth is like, I think you're the best person I know to find anything amazing, antique, thrifted, a sale. Like, if you love a discount, you have to follow Elizabeth because she finds the best deals. It's such a skill. Like, well, you must love the hunt. Do you like the hunt? I love
the hunt, but it's so funny because I grew up, my mom's like superpower, so she could tell you where every thrift store was in the United States, or like every TJ Maxx in the Southeast.
Oh my God, amazing.
And so I grew up like going to all these thrifted stores throughout my childhood. And my grandmother is somebody that would go to like the D&D building in New York.
Yes, love.
And we would never walk into a thrift store. And so I feel like she had this educational component.
Yeah.
And my mom had the hunt. And then
You
as
combine them together.
Yeah. And you get older and you realize how expensive life is.
Oh my God. And like you have beautiful taste. Elizabeth loves beautiful interiors, like I do, beautiful fabrics. And like that stuff just gets so expensive. You know, like a headboard, an upholstered headboard can kill you the price.
But we're both PR girls. And
Yeah.
PR, you're very resourceful. And so you kind of figure things out. And I feel like that is kind of how I got into it a little bit too, because I felt like I had veranda eyes without the veranda pocketbook. And I'd be
Yes.
like, I need to decorate my living room, but I have $200. How can I make this happen?
Well, I feel like you sort of always knew how to do that. And now that you've moved into your sort of content creator chapter, you're just telling all of us. Like, I feel like you've been doing it for years, but now we all get to follow along and learn.
So it's been fun kind of demystifying that world and hopefully empowering others to shop secondhand.
So quickly, just so we can set the scene, your first business, remind me of the name, was a jewelry business, right?
Elizabeth Hurd, Flair for the Hair.
Okay. And you had that for how long?
I had that for probably 4 years, maybe.
But you were young when you started it, right?
I was really young. I was living in New York and I was working for a magazine and I was going to Parsons at night school. And I always loved hair barrettes. And I loved the idea of making something cool that's really not considered that cool. And I always wore barrettes. I used to go to Clyde's in New York back like, when I was like in South Georgia. And went through a breakup when I was really young. And it's interesting how that like kind of redirects you in different ways. I was working, but I wasn't working to the level that, I was later in life. And one of the best things that ever happened to me is that I called my dad and I said, Dad, can I borrow money for rent in Atlanta? And he said, no, Wibba. He called me Wibba because I couldn't pronounce Elizabeth when I was younger. And he'd say, no, but your childhood bedroom is free.
Okay, so that's a good answer.
I moved to South Georgia. I had these like homemade hot glue hair barrettes that I like to do. And I was like, I'd see my friends in San Francisco and New York. And I go, gosh, I really need to start earning an income to live the life that I want to. And I think that really like was this fun propeller into working.
Push. Yeah.
It was a great push.
Totally.
And so I just really enjoyed and the biggest thing with those hair barrettes is, the PR side, we're used to pitching and I was seeing what was resonating with sales back then because I worked in PR in New York and I'd emailed Good Morning America. I was watching the Kardashians with my first business. And I was like, that's what I need to do, Elizabeth, get them on television.
Yeah.
Like,
and you did, right?
Yeah. I ended up getting them on television, but that what enabled me to move back to Atlanta. And I put 6 months down rent and cash because I was like, instead of the monthly payments.
Yeah.
And I did somebody's public relations for free for a while in order to have an office space and electricity and like a printer. And that's kind of how I got started with the PR thing. And people would call and at trade shows, I would book time slots.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a really good psychological thing for buyers. They would always see my booth really busy at trade shows.
Yeah.
But it was a lot of these young entrepreneurs that would be like, how do I do a desk side? Or can you help me write this pitch email?
So while you were doing the hair accessories business and all that, you were also doing PR, sort of doing both?
Well, I was doing both for a little bit, but also, because of my background in public relations, it catapulted the brand so much faster than it probably would have.
Yeah.
And my product was really a subpar product. I just enjoyed the storytelling component so much. And so people would be like, how did you get your hair barrettes in Teen Vogue or wherever?
Yeah.
And I would start helping these other, especially like female entrepreneurs, but I would book these time slots and then it became a domino effect. And so my second business became Domino. And that was really also seeing this white space in Atlanta, Georgia at the time, because there was a lot of creatives, but going to New York or LA seemed out of budget and it seemed intimidating for a lot of people.
Totally.
And there wasn't this middleman that could really help them get on a national platform, even though the services and the products behind them
are great. Like there's so many good Southern brands that you repped. And so Domino Media Group, how long were you running it before you sold it?
I think I was running it for 6 years.
Yeah. I mean, you built an awesome business. I feel like you had amazing clients. I loved the girls that you worked with. And then you sold it to them, right? And they continued it. Okay.
So my number 2, Sarah Slaughter, runs it today.
I love her.
And,
she's a gem.
She is a gem. And we both worked for the same PR agency in New York. So we both had a very similar training.
Yeah.
And it was just so nice that I feel like when I left, I just really wanted the team to feel like they were supported and in good hands and the clients. And
she's continued to grow it really well. I feel like, does she now have a whole social media arm?
There
it looks
like 12 employees and she just acquired another business. and so proud of her.
That's awesome. And so then all of that's happening, you're having kids, and then how did you sort of get into the content creating world, posting on Instagram, all of that? Or I guess more so like when did it start to feel like a bit more of a business and that you
Yeah.
started to make money from it and rely on it?
I did a home tour with the potted boxwood of
Okay.
my
And did that
home.
sort of like set you off?
A little bit, yeah. I did this tour in my last house in Columbus, Georgia, and so many people would reach out and they'd be like,
I've watched that
"How
tour. I remember all the different rooms. It was such a beautiful house.
sweet?" Yeah, the house I loved. It had good bones, but they'd be like, "Where do you get your rug?" And I would just send them the rug link without it being commissionable. And I had worked on the PR side, so I'd seen what these girls were doing on the back end a little bit.
Yeah, you definitely knew some of the inner workings, I would
Some
think.
Yeah, and it's grown so much more since I was there on the content side on the PR, but I'm fast my marketing mind is fascinated seeing what brands are doing today.
Yeah.
But I basically when ShopMy came around,
It's
it
changed the game, I
it
think.
it truly changed the game and honestly changed my life.
That's
Like, yeah,
amazing.
it was
Did you use
so
LTK at
grateful.
all? Or have you always been a Shop My girl?
So I'm a huge Amber fan. We went to
Yes.
college together and
Oh, at SMU?
yeah,
Okay.
and I used LTK, but I honestly never really did. Like I had it, but I do find ShopMy easier to use.
There's something about the way these are two different affiliate platforms that I feel like most of our followers will be familiar with of how influencers make money. And it allows you to make a unique link that then when you're following Elizabeth and
Yeah,
you click on her link that she posts on Substack or in her Instagram stories, it's tracking that Elizabeth gave you the link. So you don't have to pay anything as the follower or the consumer, but Elizabeth would get a little commission or I would when I'm sharing these links. And that's how most, there's tons of different ways, of course, to be paid as a content creator.
uh,
You can have a paid partnership or all that. But I think both of us love just like a good commissionable sale.
completely. And
Like,
I think I saw on one of your podcasts, you were like, instead of giving it to Amazon, please just give it to like a young
yes, like
creator.
a mom who has two kids, like this money makes a difference, you
Well,
know?
it is so true. And so this last year, Nan, I went through a divorce, and that is probably the other thing that really catapulted me trying to figure out how to make this into a business because the funds that I was making these funds and I was seeing the return and I was like, if I just think a little bit more strategically, maybe about like, I'm going into Goodwill. I love going into Goodwill. I'm there, but now I'm putting on a tucker neck dress.
Yeah, looking
And
cute, can link to the dress.
yes.
Yes,
And so I've started to do that. And, I've been having so much fun. I
totally.
love seeing what brands are doing. And I love chatting with people. And also, the work that I've been doing that doesn't always really even feel like work to me.
No,
It's just like chatting with friends has paid all my legal bills this past year and just been
oh my gosh,
so
from your divorce.
yes,
That's huge. Like, so a woman going through a divorce can use this platform, like this new job category,
incredible.
and pay your legal bills. I mean, I think that's
And I'm
amazing.
home with my 2 children. And so it is the neatest thing to me. And that's also just so empowering,
Yeah, I love
I
that.
think.
I think it just what I've learned too with doing my account is like you just have to I think if someone's a new creator or a younger creator, and I still feel like I'm new and I have so much to learn,
Yeah.
but I think you just have to put in the time. Like I found that I would make a little bit of money here. It was sort of supplemental income. And then once I really started to do it consistently,
Uh-huh.
that's where I saw like the tables turn a little bit. And I was like, oh, okay, this is income I can rely on.
Yes.
That once I'm posting consistently and my followers can know to expect my posts,
Uh-huh.
then I can start to rely on this money.
Yes, I completely agree. And sometimes it feels like the more you put in, the more you get out, which I love that
Definitely.
kind of internal game.
Well, I feel like that's been interesting from the PR realm
Uh-huh.
because if as we were both publicists, I feel like there used to be a lot of what you do as a PR as a publicist is you're sort of waiting a lot. You're kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going to check in with the editor. I'm doing this for my client, but you're kind of a middleman. And I love that I can be sitting here as a creator and be like, I want to make a little more money this month. Okay, let me just go post another Substack, make some more content. Like it feels like it's really in my control.
Yes.
Where I feel like when you're a publicist, it's not really all in your control.
And Substack's wonderful because it feels like it's owned land versus like a rented space. And so I've
100%.
really been trying to get people into my Substack.
How often do you send a Substack?
So I've been doing Marketplace Mondays, which I do consistently. And
Yes.
that goes back to what you were saying of just people knowing to expect that once a week, where I
Yeah.
give them the sale breakdown in Atlanta, give the online sales. And
It's
then
like every sale you need, every product you want to buy. I love
I
it.
call it the daily candy of the South. And
Oh my God,
if
who
you
remembers
remember,
daily
yeah.
candy? That was so good.
And so I've just been having so much fun doing that. But then I
Yeah.
went to this like incredible estate sale later on this or right before I came here this week. And So I was like, I've got to send out another email because
Yeah.
I want to be a trusted source for all of the sale info. And just because I'd sent out my email, I was like, I got to let people know they've got to go to this one
Yeah. No, I
and
think you
more
can
about
send
it.
out a few. I sort of get worried about am I sending too many? Will people get annoyed? And I'm like, it's just an email. If someone doesn't want to read it, they can delete it,
I know.
Like it's no big deal. I have so many things to ask you, but
Okay.
let's talk about estate sales because I feel like you, in my mind, are the queen of figuring out an estate sale, finding all the good things. So it's sort of a double-edged sword, right? Because you could go to an estate sale in person, or you can also now there's so many online auctions.
Totally.
What do you recommend for the newbie? Let's say someone who doesn't live in Atlanta, doesn't live in New
Uh-huh.
York, maybe they live in Texas and they
Okay.
want to go find estate sales. How would they go about finding
So
them?
I'd go to estatesales.net
Okay.
and you can also download it on your phone. I find that easier to use. And you put in the nicest zip code in your city
Nice.
and
The zip code key. I love that. Okay.
it'll populate all of the estate sales that are happening. And
Amazing.
then that way you can look and you can see with up to 14 days ahead.
Okay.
And usually most sales are posted on like a Monday or Tuesday. They're
Okay.
live on a Thursday and then the prices will go
And that's in
down.
person or are the products listed online?
So a lot of times people will do photos of the estate sale
Okay.
and then the address is posted the evening before the actual sale.
Oh, so you can see a little preview of like what
You can see a preview and I will say that's an industry that needs better
it needs disruption. Like someone
it
needs
needs
to
a
come in.
publicist behind it because the photos are not very good, which I also kind of love because I'm like, there's a lot hidden in here. They
Yes.
don't see that baccarat,
Right.
hurricane behind there, but I do. And
Love.
and so what I do is when I know the address, is that sometimes I'll Google the address and then I find out these stories of these homes, like who the interior designer was or the architect. And I love learning about the history behind where I'm
Yeah.
heading in. But the best thing to do if you're unfamiliar with estate sales is go in with an open mind
Okay.
and download the app, go to the sale to find an item. You basically just pick it up.
Yeah.
If it's a larger
First, wait,
piece,
I'm interrupting you,
yeah.
but so the sale, let's say it starts at 10 a.m. Like, do you need to be there at 9 to get in line? How important is it to be first into the sale?
So I think it depends on the sale itself. Like if
Okay.
it's going to be a sale that has a lot of promotion behind it, you want to get there earlier, especially if there's a piece that you know you're going after.
Okay.
I would get there probably around like 8:30.
And wait in line.
Yes, I went
Love. Okay.
to this big estate sale in Atlanta recently, and it was so funny. I was in like my mom was going after two chandeliers. One was an Urban Electric, and one was a Ferrante
Mm.
that she had found at this estate sale. And so we were like, we got to get there early. She was the front of the line, and there was men that had spent the night there, and they were going after porcelain. And there was like a silver dealer, like these characters. I was like, this needs to be a reality show. This
Oh
is
my
hysterical,
gosh. That is
and
crazy.
all these different characters. And then people would be like, what are you going after? And everybody would just go silent because
You don't
they
want to
didn't want to
share.
share.
So you walk into, so it opens. Let's say you're your mom
Yeah.
going after a chandelier. Is she sort of like going as fast as she can through the house to wherever hopefully the chandelier is?
Yes, exactly. So my mom, my brother-in-law and my sister and brother-in-law just moved to Atlanta. And I think she was colluding with them the evening before. And so my sweet brother-in-law was there to go after one chandelier while my mom went for the other.
Stop.
And then
Oh my
I
gosh,
was
okay.
backup.
Oh
And
my
then,
gosh.
so she just like was covering all of her bases. But if you do know a designated piece, I would go directly towards that
Okay.
first, hold it. And if it's a larger piece, you're going to need to put your name that says sold and get with somebody that's from the estate sale company to have them write up your ticket.
Do
And
you
if
have to
it's
bring your own tickets or are there sort of tickets
they
there?
have their own tickets.
Okay.
Now, sometimes I have custom sold like Elizabeth
Of
stickers
course
with
you
my number on them, but I think that probably wouldn't fly everywhere.
Yeah.
They know me, and I think the Atlanta like estate sale world that
She's the queen of
no
the
no no
Atlanta
no
estate sales.
no. I say that in the sense that like they'll be able to find me and
Right,
they'll be like, you need to
totally.
pay for this figurine or trinket, but I would wait until somebody from the estate sale company like flags it, which they'll do
Okay.
right away. And
Yeah.
they're like used to the craze in the morning. But if you really like to take your time, like debate over a piece, estate sales are not necessarily
The
going to
place
be
to do that.
your favorite way of shopping.
Okay.
But I think Nan, kind of get a thrill out of it.
Oh, I bet. It's kind of like a high.
Yes,
Like you
yes,
won.
it is a total dopamine high.
Yeah.
And so for better or worse.
This is so fun. Okay, so you go at estate sales generally, can you sort of heckle the price or is it really that one price that they've
So
decided?
what I have noticed is really on that first day, it is that price.
Okay.
And then as the weekend goes on or as the estate sale goes on, there's a little
Oh,
more
okay.
negotiation power. And the best is like The very end of the very last day of the estate sale, typically it's 50% off the price that they put
That's
there.
huge. Okay.
And then also if it's like the last hour of the estate sale, sometimes I'll be like, this place is closing. Like, would
Bruh.
you be open to X?
Okay.
And most people are. And it really depends on what agreement they have with the consigner
Okay.
and how strict they are. But they want to sell it just as much as you want to buy it for a deal.
So if you get a small trinket, you can probably buy it right then, take it with you, right?
Exactly.
What about if you're buying the dining room table? Do they have a shipping company there, or is this when we need to refer to your good list of all the shipping companies that you can use?
So if you're doing an estate sale, there's so many like local movers that can help you.
Okay.
And I'm trying to think of like there's some Bungee, there's like some different apps that it will help you, but usually most estate sale companies have a list of preferred shippers.
Great. So it's
And if
pretty
you
convenient to figure out how to
Ex
get it home to you.
exactly. They can help you get it home. In Atlanta, I have so many movers, like on speed dial that I use. And
Love.
especially now as like a single, lady,
Right. You can't move it yourself
I
as
can't
much.
move it
Yeah.
myself, but even like I'm always rearranging furniture and doing different things. So I'll call like my mover and I'll be like, Charles, like, can we move this dresser from here to here? Or
Yes.
I need to set up this playhouse with my children. Like, just a lot of everyday tasks
I
that are
feel
a
like
little
that
bit harder.
always happens to me as a single woman. I'm like, I really just need another set of hands.
Yes, yes. And so I know all the folks in
I
town, but
love
if you're
that.
doing an online auction,
Yeah.
online auction houses usually on their designated websites, not on live auctioneers,
Okay.
um,
If
but
you're
on
more
their
on like Stair Gallery's
exactly.
website.
If you
Okay.
go to Stair Galleries and you go to like their shipping, which is usually
Yeah.
on the very bottom underneath, like on the about contact shipping is usually one of the subheaders.
Okay.
You click on it, and there'll be a list of national shippers, a list of white glove, and then a list of small miscellaneous items.
Okay.
Most UPS stores will ship small miscellaneous items and pick it up.
Okay.
So if you're like doing an auction in Detroit,
Yeah.
somebody from UPS can pick up those items and then ship it to you.
Mm.
But you have to be cautious. That's why I love estate sales so much is that with an online auction, Nan, say you found a great set of china for 200 and it's a 28% buyer's premium, you're spending another like $60
I don't
and then
understand
shipping.
that. Okay, so let's
Yeah.
switch gears because I want to be more of a thrifty shopper. Like you go to all these estate sales, buy online, but I'm new to all of it. An online auction, there's a few things that confuse me. So first, if it's on what's the website that
Live
live
auctioneers.
auctioneers,
Uh-huh.
but more so if I was just on Stair Galleries or some of these different things, you have to pre-register. That's the first thing that confuses me. Is that right?
Yes. So I think it's helpful to pre-register.
Okay.
I don't always do that, but if anything, it's nice if you pre-register on the auction website because then your buyer's premium is less.
What is the buyer's premium?
It's just they take all of these different, just like when you pay taxes and you
Okay,
want,
so
there's
it's sort
all
of just
these
like
different
commission
fees.
on top of it.
Yes. But
Okay.
like instead of it being 28% on live auctioneers, because live auctioneers is getting like another 4%,
Okay.
you could pay 24%. And if you're spending a fair amount,
Yeah.
it ends up being a lot of money. And so it's just something to
So you
um,
basically, when you're buying these
think
things
of.
online, you have the price that's listed or whatever the winning bid is that you
Yes.
end up paying. You have the, what did you call that?
I
Sorry.
call it the buyer's premium.
Buyer's premium and then shipping. Those
Yes.
are the three things you need to prepare. So it's really a different price than what you see right there. Like you've got to be ready
Completely.
to add a lot more to it.
And sometimes the shipping can really be a doozy.
And so do you usually reach out to a shipper in advance to will they do an estimate for you?
yes, they do. That's a
Okay.
great question. And that's a wonderful thing to do to get a feeling if this is something that's within your budget to do.
Okay.
So how I've gone about that in the past is that I'll go to a list of shippers that's usually on the auction website.
Yeah.
Or if anybody's listening and they live in Texas, Connecticut, Palm Beach, Atlanta, I can tell you the different shippers.
And I know that you have that on your Substack too.
And
I've
it's
seen
also on
that
my
before.
Substack. Yes.
So we will make sure. One thing I actually want to plug for everyone listening is with each episode, there's an episode description that you can read on YouTube or see in your podcast app. And there's a link there to our Substack. And for every podcast episode, we have a coordinating Substack post that links to everything we talk about.
Oh,
because I've
wonderful.
found one of my biggest pet peeves when I'm listening to a podcast, they might say, oh, I'm wearing this how do you pronounce her brand?
Sartor. Yeah.
Sue Sartor dress, and it's beautiful. And then I'm like, wait, what was the dress that Elizabeth was wearing? So we will give you the link. So anything that we mentioned, Stair Galleries, Elizabeth Substack, all of that will be linked and provided for you. Hopefully, unless we can't find
Amazing.
the link because it's, a one-of-a-kind piece you find at an auction. But we'll provide all of that for you. So shippers, we have a few favorites that Elizabeth can share.
Yes. And but if you're trying to get that estimated shipping,
Yeah.
I go to the shipper, I send them an email and I say, hey, I'm looking at lot 67.
Okay.
I put the link
Yeah.
and then I say it's pickup with the address for the auction house. And then and be careful that you're actually picking up at the auction house and not like a warehouse, a
Somewhere
state
else.
away.
Okay.
Yes. So it'll tell you on the auction website. And then you put in your address of wherever it's going, and people will give you an estimate, and that's really helpful. And sometimes, like especially with Stair, I've gotten
Yeah.
like where if I'm getting one big piece, I'll be like, well, I should just have a lot of fun and just get a bunch
Right, get a
because
few things added all together. Do you ever, like, get 2 bids for shipping and sort of price shop the 2
totally
of them? Okay.
100%. I
Because
always do that.
it's a lot of work. I love it because I love shopping that you really have to dive in, but there's a lot of moving pieces. Like, you're not just going on the real, buying something, checking
It
out. There's a bit of more of a hunt, which we like the hunt.
Because of that extra piece, I
Yeah.
think it deters a lot of people. But it's also you can find incredible items, and in Atlanta, where I'm living right now, I really do feel like they're having this design moment in the secondhand market,
Yeah.
kind of similar to what Palm Beach did maybe a decade ago. And because there's not as many dealers reselling,
Yeah.
but there's so many people that have invested in their homes and have these beautiful homes,
And, like,
and
great interior designers who've kind of done the whole thing, and
completely.
that lucky person's moving to a new home and they're not taking it with them. They're
Yeah.
starting from
Yeah.
scratch.
And so I have found like I am finding better things in Atlanta at estate sales. And it makes more
Interesting.
sense for me than paying for shipping
Right.
to Connecticut. But during the pandemic and pre-pandemic, I used to do a ton of online auctions because I was
Okay.
living in a city that didn't have all these estate sales. And also, this was before the pandemic, especially online auctions. Things were just going so they were. It was crazy what I was finding for the
Yeah.
price point,
Okay.
and and then more people became aware of them.
So I'm thinking if I want to ease into the
Yes.
world of online auctions, I should probably start with like smaller. Maybe it is the silverware or like something sort of tabletopy decorative. Is that a good way to start before I buy something big? Like it feels like a big commitment to buy a chair or to
But
buy a piece
also
of
living in New
furniture.
York and say Stair, which is one of my absolute favorite auction houses, or Doyle's here.
Yeah.
But you can really, it's not that far from Hudson, New York. Like
Right. You could go see it.
you could go see it, you could
Yeah.
go to the preview, but you could also have that moved for you. And
Right.
it probably wouldn't be crazy expensive.
Okay.
So I'd almost even be tempted to get something larger because
Get
it
more
could be
bang for
like,
your buck.
yeah, it could be like a $20,000 table
Yeah.
that you're buying for 400, and you're
That's
like, this
crazy.
is great. And Stair, especially, I'm obsessed with Colin Stair.
Oh, is he one of the founders or
He
owners?
is,
Okay.
but he's so funny. He's like, this is like a mermaid moment. Everybody, like the things he says as these
To
lots
describe.
come up
Yeah.
is just
Oh,
such a
fun.
mood booster.
Yeah. Well, this that's okay. So you're inspiring me. I'm definitely going to work on it more. I would say my mom is not as thrifty, but we both like it in concept together.
Uh,
So she definitely does a bit of online auctions. So
and both of y'all have such a great design eye that I think you'd appreciate just seeing what people have done in the
well, I
past.
think that's how I've slightly gotten into it because I've seen people promoting different, a sale with Stair Gallery that's a
Uh,
woman's name that I recognize.
yeah.
That's how I've started to look. I'm like, oh, is it, Bunny Mellon's sale of this or that? That sort of was what draws me in. And then I'm like, oh, look at that like Bowood fabric on this chair. Maybe I
Uh-huh.
need that. So it's fun to see. And I love how on your social media, I think you've done a really nice job of sharing videos about all of this and how it works. Cause I feel like that's sort of your niche in a nice way. Like there's not a lot of other girls sharing that type of content.
Yeah. I think it's nice to have a niche and have something that people can expect to find from you,
Yeah,
and that consistency. And that is something that I just genuinely really enjoy. And it's really fun to empower women to shop for their homes maybe in a different way, and
totally.
also in a way that feels more accessible.
Do you find are there certain things that you wouldn't recommend to someone to get secondhand almost? Or I don't know, I'm just thinking like, I don't know, a sofa or something. You obviously wouldn't want something from a home where someone was a smoker. Like, how do you deal with the certain things that are a little unexpected?
I mean, I look for quality. So if
Okay.
you're looking at a George Smith chair, like
Right.
I would buy it and reupholster it.
Okay.
But also at the same time, if you're in an estate sale and it's like a Pottery Barn ottoman, like I would not buy that.
Right.
Like
Not worth the price.
exactly.
Totally. What do you have a list on your website of I think the other thing when people don't have an interior designer, getting something reupholstered
Uh,
can sort of be a barrier for people. How do
completely.
they find that workroom? Do you have any tips
Yes.
on that front?
Well, in Atlanta, I have like a black book of sources that people can use. But outside of that, I really find that there are a lot of people that will upholster, even if you're non-trade.
Okay, great.
And
So just sort
so
of calling people. You have to put in the work, I think.
I think you have to ask around.
Yeah.
And most people are apt to like share contact. Some people will say like, no, this is my special drape designer. You got to go through me. But I think people are also open a share and you can just Google too.
Yeah,
And
and it also never hurts to ask. Like, the
yes.
worst thing someone could say is, "No, I'm not gonna tell you," and it's like,
Yeah.
"Okay, I'll ask someone else. That's
Yeah.
fine."
And I think you could call also like the design centers in your city
Oh, that's a good
and
idea.
ask who they would recommend.
Right.
And they would be much more open because it's not like their individual
Right,
business that
like, the
they're,
Schumacher showroom could maybe
yes,
tell you where to go because
yes.
they'd want you to use the Schumacher product.
Uh-huh.
Okay, so switching gears, now that we know a little bit more about the content that you're sharing, what you're doing, tell us what a day in your life is like, which of course is probably always changing. But with 2 kids, creating all your content, what's like an average Tuesday like for you?
Well, it's wild. So,
Let's
my
say a Tuesday when your kids are in school. So
yeah,
like a Tuesday in
nice.
May.
Okay, so I feel like we wake up and it is my kids go to 2 different schools, and so I'm
Okay.
doing one drop off, and then I take for my daughter goes first, and then I drop my son off,
Does he come with you
and
though? Like
he
they're both in
comes
the
they're
car.
both in the car, and I'm
Okay.
trying to get them dressed, and so by the time I get them both dropped off at school,
Yeah.
I'm already like I feel like I've done a lot
Yeah, like the
because
day's already
you're
been
like
lived.
making lunch and getting them to 2 different places and getting them dressed. And so once they're out the door, I feel like I do a big like once they're at school, I'm like do this big like
I would
have
do
like a
like a deep
moment.
breath of being like,
Yes.
okay, where to start my
And
day?
then I'm like, yes, exactly that overwhelming. Where do I start? Because usually my to-do list is
Miles long.
yes. And but I have a coffee, and on Tuesdays, a lot of times, what I've started is going to preview these estate sales in Atlanta before
Okay.
they go live on a Thursday. And so a lot of times, I'll drop my son off, and then I'll go to this estate sale, and then I'll do work on a Substack
Yeah.
or anything I need to
Working
do.
from home, I'm guessing.
Yes, working
Yeah.
from home,
Okay.
and every day is so different. And a lot of days, too, somebody's sick or
Right. A doctor's appointment that you have to take them to just randomly, whatever, something pops up.
so I really appreciate the flexibility that I could work at 9 p.m. or I could work at 9 a.m. And something else with the links is that it's this has been the biggest thing over the last 2 years is that there's been this 2 hour gap between when I pick up my son. I used to pick him up at 1 o'clock,
Okay.
and then I'd go pick up my daughter usually around 3 o'clock.
Okay.
And so I'd pick him up and he would sleep in the back seat, Nan.
Oh my gosh.
And so I was sitting in my daughter's school parking lot
Working while
working.
he's asleep. Oh my gosh,
Yes.
you're a hustler. I love it.
And that is really what I've done the last 2 years. And
On
that,
just your phone, or do you have at least like a
oh, I have my laptop. I like
amazing?
a hotspot. And, but that has been like basically my dedicated work time. Cause usually before I'm running around all the places I need to
Yeah.
go that I can like sit down and focus. And I'll have like Chick-fil-A usually ready and like a
Yes.
fat Diet Coke. And I am just ready to sit there in the parking lot, get what I need to done. And then I go around, I can pick up my daughter and then I'm with them.
Yeah, diving back into
Yeah.
mom mode till they go to sleep, probably. And then I
Uh-huh.
feel like there's always more to do, probably after they go to
Uh,
sleep.
definitely.
Do you ever feel like I definitely fall into a category of sometimes I'm like, oof, am I spending too much time on my phone, too much technology time?
Yes.
Do you worry about it? Or maybe we just can't worry about it? I'm not
I don't
sure.
know. I do worry sometimes, but I'm at the stage where I feel like there's so many like other things to worry about
Oh, right. Like that's a small fish to
that I
fry.
just don't want my cortisone levels to go up any higher than they already are.
Yeah.
That I know that I'm on my phone too much and that my daughter probably sees the technology and feels like it's too attached. So I need to be more conscientious. But I'm also making a living and paying
Right. She's seeing you
her
work
for her
hard.
education
Yeah.
through my phone, which is like the coolest thing to me.
Right. No, I think that probably that seeing her mom working hard, paying bills, doing all these things to make her life better, I think that will probably pay
I'm
off
not one of
more.
those people that puts my phone away in another room when I sleep. I kind
Yeah,
of
I'm
wish
not
I
either.
was one of those people, but
It doesn't like once I decide I'm going to sleep and I put my phone down, I'm not really going back to look at it until I like really decide I can't sleep and it's 2 in the
yeah.
morning or something. So it doesn't overly distract me, but I do think it probably would be healthier if it was in a different room, but maybe in time.
Yes.
What has there been anything that's like, what's something you love about your job and something that's a bit more of a challenge that someone might not know about your job that, you know, would be interesting to learn?
So I have really loved demystifying the design world, kind of educating
Love breaking
people,
things down.
yeah, on
Yeah.
where they can find and where they can source and not necessarily sharing these trade secrets per se, but everything's open nowadays. Like it's out. We all have the same resources to learn.
Yeah.
And so what's used to be very unavailable to most people, if you wanted to find those sources and get those pieces, you can. And so I think it's very fun to empower women to shop differently and shop smarter. And especially if you're on a budget, you can still have this beautiful like aesthetic or home
Right.
with whatever budget you do have. And I always tell people to like buy within their budget and buy
Yes.
what you love.
Love.
Um, but that has probably been my favorite thing. I also just love having this community out on Instagram. I
It's
feel like,
crazy. It's so fun that like you feel like you know these other people, but you don't really know them. It's definitely a weird parasocial world, but it's sort of
yeah,
amazing.
I think it's wonderful. And then
Yeah.
usually they're all like really lovely
So
people.
kind. I know.
And
Always feel grateful that I'm in like a good little corner of the internet. I feel like it definitely seems like there's bad parts out there, but it hasn't found me.
100%. And I think that that support I've loved. And then the thing that I'm maybe a little bit more hesitant about is sometimes I like the bridge of the line of I always want to be authentic and share, but
Yes.
you don't want to overshare, especially with maybe the stage I'm in right now with the divorce. I don't
Yeah.
want to, say anything that would feel
Too private or
too
whatever.
private where it
Yeah.
would harm like my children or not be something that my in-laws are would ruffle their feathers. And so I really
I
I'm
feel like you're so thoughtful with what you put out. I always worry that I post the wrong thing too, but I think in the end, if you're worrying, your content's probably fine. Like just
yeah.
having that little thing in the back
I
of your head.
and I think people have such short attention spans, so I just like kind of
Yeah, most people
say
don't even see it, right? If you
yeah.
do say something you don't want to say, it's like, oh, it's over.
Yeah, completely. And so I think that's the biggest thing is just trying to be conscientious, knowing that it's going out to more people than,
You
my
realize.
girlfriend Nan as I'm
Yeah.
sitting here over coffee.
No, I always sort of think like, oh, it's my mom and her best friends. And then I'm like, oh, it is some random people. Man, bringing it in a little bit. It's the line of like privacy to public is tricky, but I think we're all walking the
Yeah.
wall.
And it's nice to I always like appreciate when women are like way more raw and honest, and I hope to be that way.
Oh, I think that's all we really want from the internet. It's like no one's life is perfect. We're all like
Completely.
Elizabeth was joking when she walked in. She's like, I spilled my coffee on my
Yeah, if
dress.
anybody knows.
But it's like that is life. Like we're not
Yes.
perfect. I think that just makes everyone more relatable. It's like, yep, we've all been there.
100%.
Let's switch gears, and I want to ask you a bit about your noteworthy tips.
Okay.
The things that you do in your busy days that sort of just help streamline what you're up to and take care of your kids, run your business. Do you
Yes.
have any tips for us?
I love ChatGPT. I'm such
Okay.
a ChatGPT girl. I feel like it has really helped me. I'll honestly spitball my to-do list and they'll help me organize it.
Oh,
And then
amazing.
I'll even say, what should I conquer first? And they'll go through my to-dos.
And
Um,
are you talking to your chat GPT or typing it in?
I am typing it in, but I should talk. That would be really wonderful.
I've noticed some people have definitely started to do that. And something I read, maybe it was even Thomas Berlsheimer. I feel like
Uh-huh.
he does a lot about
Yes,
AI.
that's a great follow
Was
for
for
tips.
yeah, I've always like am picking up, seeing what he's talking about. I think he mentioned that he thinks a lot of what we're doing with our computers and everything will move to voice. And he
Uh-huh.
mentioned, I think, an app called Whisper, which you can
Okay.
talk into and it will make a to-do list. It will draft your Substack post for you.
Yes,
Like there's really going to be a change to a lot more audio versus sitting and typing, which
that's
is
amazing.
intriguing.
Yes.
Okay, so
I'm gonna get into Whisper.
ChatGPT, you're using on your phone and your computer and sort of like your Google too. Are you asking it questions or do you still use Google separately?
I use Google separately,
Yeah,
but I need to get more better arsenal of tools. I
me
really
too.
feel like
That's why we have the podcast.
I
We're
know
gonna
I'm so
compile them all
excited.
together.
I'm so excited. I think though the chat GPT has like revolutionized my world in the sense that it's like this little assistant
Yes.
that I can ask questions to, and especially now that we know each other on chat
Right.
GPT.
They know what you're looking for. They have that like history that they're building, right? Of you. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
And so I have just really enjoyed having that. And I feel like it's one of those things that has made things easier. And
Great.
bottom line, you want any of these tools to make your life better and save some time somewhere.
Yeah. That's what
Yes.
we're always looking for. Okay. So ChatGPT, anything else at the top of your list?
So at the other top, I love like estates, like my estate sales app and live auctioneers app. Um,
Okay. So let's live auctioneers. And is it the other one just called estate sales or what is it called?
estatesales.net.
Okay.
And then they have an app for it. But estatesales.net, I can heart and flag everything I'm doing.
Great.
And then I also will sometimes just like send that over to my Outlook. And so that way
Oh,
I'll know when all
perfect.
these sales are happening and it helps keep me organized.
Okay, great.
And that is the biggest thing. I feel like I just live off my online
Oh my God, our
calendar.
calendar. Yeah, it's crazy. But that I love when something like corresponds well and works well, and also when there's a good app. So we will be sure to
Yes.
link both of those apps. Okay, great.
But really, I just love AI. I think it's so cool. And
Do you have any fears about it? I think there's definitely people out there who are, ringing the alarm. And so I'm
yeah,
always trying to balance both. I don't
I
want to get
know.
left behind, but I also want to be cautious. Do you think about any of that?
So I don't. I think that
Which I love. Like, let's just be honest. Sometimes you can't, right? Like, you're living life.
I think it's going to happen and it's
Yeah.
here and it's nice to figure out how you can use that to elevate whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
And that's the way I've looked at it. I think that, like you saying you're going to take a class on Claude, we were chatting and I would love to do something like that to better educate myself on the
Yeah.
options out there. And a friend of mine actually went to this 3-day intensive in Santa Fe
Oh, that's
where she
cool.
did like an AI boot camp. And basically, it was like having a wealth manager go through all of her finances and it's just all AI. And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is the coolest thing. If you really knew how to,
The finance the one of the pieces that I haven't figured out yet that I
yeah,
need to do more research on is like, okay, I've downloaded Claude on my computer. I have Claude Coworker, but I don't really need it to see my finances yet. Like, I'm not
yeah,
ready to jump into that barrier. So I've moved those folders to a different part of my computer. So hopefully Claude doesn't have access. That's like the line I've drawn, which I don't, we are not experts clearly. So I don't know if that's the right line to draw, but it is just interesting to figure out like
yeah.
how much info do we give to these platforms or not. But I think we've got to just test it and figure it out. So I am intrigued. I use Claude instead of ChatGPT. So I signed up for some class on Thursday this week, a 2-hour sort of boot camp on how to use Claude Cowork,
Oh,
which that is where they can sort of like run things in the background for you. So
yes.
I want it to like run a report on all my Substacks. Every time I send out a new Substack post, 2 days later, tally up all that data for me so I can start
So
to see
smart.
what's working well, what's not. Or I'm sure there's things it could help me with for the podcast. Just sort of my mindset is like, let's lean into what I'm not good at. Let's use AI to like, I can be the creative self and that can be my data
Yeah, like
brain that
your
I don't have.
assistant, kind of like
Exactly.
that's crunching that. I think that that's really helpful.
Yeah.
Even if there's like a sensitive email that I'm sending to the school,
Mm.
or like I've had text messages from boys that I'm like, what do I say back?
How can I ask you briefly? Are you dating?
I am.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
fun. How's it going?
It's so much fun. I feel like it's been so long since
Yeah.
somebody's been like, "How are you doing, Elizabeth? Let me buy you a glass, like a Chardonnay."
Right. Someone
And I'm
treating
loving
you,
it.
taking care of you.
So
I
I
love
think it's
that.
really fun dipping my toes back into that world.
Good for you. Okay, so in that vein, quickly to end everything, I want to ask you a few quick fire questions
Okay.
about Atlanta.
Okay.
So if we're coming to Atlanta, what hotel should we stay at?
If you're coming to Atlanta, I think it depends on your budget, but I would say I'd stay at the St. Regis. I used to do their PR,
Okay.
and I love the St. Regis.
And if we're just in town for, a weekend or something, where should we go to dinner?
I would go to La Colonial and Shops at Buckhead.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm not a good Atlanta girl, but that's where I've been the few times I've
Okay,
been to
good.
Atlanta. And what shops must we go to? Like, what do we have to hit?
Retail shops. I would go to Miami Circle and I'd go to Peachtree Battle estate sales.
Okay.
I would hopefully there's one of their like warehouse sales, which is the most fun thing to hit. And then there's also a great antique store across the street called William Word that's open every day.
Okay.
And William Word is one of my favorite places to go for inspiration. Like
Mm.
Casa Gusto was like it's the best antique store in Atlanta.
We
And
love Casa Gusto. We will link to them. They're in Palm Beach. Actually, this little, if you're watching on YouTube, my little faux rose plant is from
beautiful.
them.
Well, I always go into William Word and I'm like, what is William Word looking for at the estate sale or at Goodwill?
Like some
And
good inspo
some
before you
good
go
inspo.
shopping. Okay, I
And
love
so,
that.
and Interiors Market is next door, and they
Okay.
have a bunch of different, like little vignettes set up by different tastemakers in town, and you can find just some incredible pieces. But I'd be tempted to go to some of those places because, again, like Atlanta has this outpouring of beautiful secondhand furniture.
Okay.
And then I think Ann Mashburn,
I was
the
hoping you'd
Mashburns are
mention
based
them.
in Atlanta, and I love the Ann and Sid, and I'd go to their store at Westside Provisions.
I was going to say it's a whole little area that you
It
could get a
is.
meal at, go shopping of different places.
It's a
Okay.
great area to walk around. It's a Jamestown property um, area. So there's Wheezy Towels now has like an office there,
Yeah.
and you have Ann and Sid. There's a Serena and Lily, like a
Oh,
Hudson
fun.
Grace,
Okay, so a good little. I love when you
a
can
mix of
visit
local
somewhere
and
and like hit a few spots at once. You're not
yes.
driving from one to the next to the next. Okay, amazing. Well, Elizabeth, thank you for
Oh,
coming on the podcast. We're so grateful. We will, of course, like I said, link to everything. But where can people follow you? Will you just tell everyone who's listening?
yes. You can find me at elizabeth.w.cook on Instagram. I'm also on Substack, and I have a website, elizabethwcook.com. But I'd
Awesome.
love to connect.
Yeah, so we will link to everything. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Nan. I really appreciate
It
it.
was fun. I mean, we could chat forever. I love it
Yes.
all. But you have definitely inspired me. I am going to work on my thrifting and antiquing. I feel like when I go to Maine this summer, there could
Oh,
probably be some good
I bet there'd be some
things.
great
So I'm going to
things.
pull up that app and see what I can find.
Yes, you'll have to keep me posted.
Yes, I'll report back, of course. All right.
Thanks, Nan.
That's a wrap. Do you have a noteworthy tip? Leave it in the comments below. Thanks for listening.